Well, g'day guys, welcome back to another episode. Sometimes things don't go according to plan, and that's kind of what's happening here this morning, but we're out here back on the rocks trying to find that big drummer, the Mondo. Now we've done this before, but I figure what I'd do is I'd show off how to bobby cork for them. It's not my preferred method, but show it off how to do it right. And then we may just go back to my favourite rig, which is just a simple sinker down to the hook. Anyways, we'll roll the intro and I'll bring you up to speed. Okay, so this hasn't quite gone according to plan. For one, there's much more swell than forecast. I was planning on fishing around the corner, but it is simply not safe enough, especially to be putting on YouTube, and the last thing I'd want is for people to think it's okay to fish in really dangerous conditions. Two, the wind is up way earlier, so it is howling around there anyways. Hopefully the wind isn't too bad on the mic here. But three, and probably the thing I'm most devo about, is there's no kanji. The big seas have simply stripped the rocks bare. There's no kanji for me. But I've got plenty of bread. I've also found a little bit of cabbage, which can be really good if there's so many pickers around. But anyways, let's go over the bobby cork rig. Now this is the same beautiful setup that I've used before in the drummer videos, and links to any gear used from the legends at Boss Outdoor down in the description, as well as what I'm using. But basically I've got 40 pound braid, and that's going a bit over the top, but this is kind of like my multi-purpose rod. I'm using 30 pound fluorocarbon, and actually what you should be using for bobby corking is mono, just because mono floats a bit more than fluorocarbon. So if you've got a turbulent situation and a bit of a longer drift, the fluorocarbon above the float will sink, making it harder to get a good hook set. But I actually bought mono with me. I accidentally bought the 50 pound, not the 30 pound. So we're going to use 30 pound fluoro. So I've got a long leader, probably like 5 meters or so. Just gauging the depth here. If I need to put a cast out wide, I can use that whole leader. But up the top of that, I've got 2 little float stoppers right there. Then below that, I've got a sliding bobby cork. Actually above that I've just got a little bead because the hole on the top of this bobby cork is a bit big. I don't want the float stoppers jamming in. So a little bead, small bobby cork, and this one's already weighted a little bit. You can tell by the weight of it and the green at the bottom. And then this is how to do it properly. You don't want this simply running all the way down to your sinker and hook, because if you get snagged and busted off, you're going to lose your bobby cork. So below that I've actually got 2 more float stoppers. So that's going to hopefully prevent the float from floating away if I get snagged. And down the very bottom I have a small bean sinker. You can use a ball or whatever. And then that is down to a Gamakatsu live bait hook. Now if you saw the first video, you would have seen this happen. Oh, that's a pig. That's a pig. That's a pig. That's a good pig. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, that's a very good pig. Whew. Man, oh man. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Oh, there he went. That was another donkey. Oh my God. Bugger. Oh, look at that. Need better hooks. And then after that, I came and I tried to do another bobby cork video, and you may see a bit more footage from that depending on the action we get today. But I went to a mustard big gun, which is quite a hefty hook, and I had this happen. Yep, there we go. That's the good one we're after. That's the good one we're after. Okay. Okay. Oh, don't go under that ledge. Don't go under that ledge. Oh, right. Oh. No, no, no. Oh, you're joking. No way. Snapped a mustard big gun. So that is why we're going straight to the heavy duty today, a Gamakatsu live bait hook. This should not snap, especially on 30 pound. We'll see if we actually tangle with any fish. I'll give you a quick look at the ledge. So it looks like it will be quite snaggy to fish. Just the usual sinker rig. Because of this big ledge, hopefully you can see there's a big ledge, you know, 3 meters out, and then it goes quite deep. So this is where bobby corking is pretty handy, where I want to set a bait just off the edge of that ledge without getting snagged up. But yeah, it's not my favorite because of the amount of fish that you miss because of that line drag when you go to set the hook. But anyways, we'll give it a whirl. And yeah, no kanji, so we'll just start with a bit of a bread bait. So just going to mould a big old, well, not massive, but a nice lump of bread around the hook. Just like that. And then I've got my bread burley already going as well. I've put in a couple of scoops of that, and I'll just keep putting in a scoop every 5 minutes or so. Just toss it up onto the rocks here, and that way it's kind of gonna just drip feed into the ocean with the big waves. Anyway, let's see what happens here. Lock this drag up pretty damn tight. Yeah, that's the one. And I will, well look, I'll just put a bait right here in the wash, but I do think I'm gonna need to adjust the float to be a bit higher up on the line, and thus my bait a bit further down in the water. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. Now, if it's really surgy, what you might have to do is just keep your bail arm open and let your bait go out naturally with the surges. But here, that's not too bad. I'll have the bail arm over. I'm just ready to jam that fish and try and extract him as soon as that float goes down. Yes, there we go. There we go. And is it a drummer? Surely that's a drummer. Whew. Well, 20 baits later, bit of success, still beauty. He's not a bad one either. Now, oh, he's just in the lip, so I'm going to try and ride this one up with a wave. He's not hooked amazingly. Oh, he just got launched, poor fella. So let's keep him right there, and then next surge we'll get him up on this ledge here. There you go, he's not a bad one. Oh, is that going to do it? Yes. There we go. Whoo! Yeah, missed lots and lots and lots of downs. Oh. But finally connected with one. And he's not a bad one. You're guilty. Beautiful fish. And yet he was only just pinned. Right, I have my gear all the way over there because you do want to keep it away from the waves. So what I'll do is I'll put this guy in a rock pool for a sec while I sort out my catch bag, and I'll give you guys a better look at him. Well, there we go, guys. Not a bad one to start. So yes, missed lots. Oh, calm down, fella. Missed lots and lots and lots of downs, and that's generally what happens with me and using a bobby cork for drummer. Yes, a lot of them probably were kelpies and other undesirables, but just that drag in the water, that drag against the float, you seem to not have as solid a hook set a lot of the time, but it certainly does work. And in fact, it's probably the go for this location with the ledge we've got a fish over. So we'll get him in the catch bag. Drummer are like luderick, where they're quite content being in a rock pool so long as it's had a little bit of aeration recently. And you do want to keep them alive until you're ready to fillet them, otherwise they might get a bit of a distinct taste about them. So in the catch bag, got that tied off, and then on the other end I've got a star sinker. So I'm just going to go put him in, I think this water over here. Put him somewhere where he can't snag me up too much. There you go, he'll be quite content over here in the shade. Even out in the sun's fine. And that bag's not going anywhere. Woo! But I will just jam this up here just to be safe. And if the mega set comes through, he's not going to get swept out to sea trapped in a bag, which has happened to me. The poor bugger had a luderick and a drummer in a bag together, and it got swept in. No good. Cool, well there's one. Hopefully we can get another one. Oh, next cast! Oh, no! That was a good one. That was a good one. Oh, that was the next cast. Bugger. That was a good fish. Knew exactly where to go as well. Straight under that ledge. Well, hopefully might be turning on. It's been a slow, it's probably been an hour. As I said, lots of downs, but might be firing up. And what I've done is I've gone to maximum depth, which is probably about 5 meters. So they're out just on the underside of that ledge out there, I think. Hopefully if we hook that big one, we can extract it out. Well, there we go, snagged up, but the float stoppers down below have done their job. Now, some of you may be wondering why not just run a swivel below. And basically you don't want, or you want as few places for line to get snagged on rocks. So like imagine you've hooked a drummer and it's gone into a cave. That swivel might be what stops you getting that fish. It might become snagged out and the fish swims out. So you want as few things on your line that are going to get caught in little crevices. That's why I run the 2 float stoppers underneath. Well, time to ditch the float. Just making me very frustrated, which bobby corking tends to do. You just miss so many fish. And as I've kind of said multiple times, a lot of them probably are just kelpies or wrasse. But you certainly hook a lot more fish without the bobby cork, but I do think we're going to get snagged up a lot more. So this is my preferred way to catch drummer. Sinker just down to the hook. So we've been at it for a good hour and a half at least, with 1 fish landed, 1 fish hooked, dropped. So we'll see if the strike rate improves just going to the old school method. Sinker down to the hook. See what happens. A lot more skill, kind of know-how involved in this method, in keeping your bait in the strike zone without constantly getting snagged. Yeah, I think I've been baited already. Oh no, got a little rat-a-tat-tat. Yeah, just try and maintain contact with your sinker. Surge pushes the line in, lift up your rod, wind down if you need to. Just try and keep it hopping along down there in the strike zone. Oh, there's a kelpie. It's just not a very good ledge for this style, with this rock platform down here in front of us. But anyways, we'll give this a go. Hopefully get one more. 2 drummers are a good feed. Yep, there we go, there we go. There we go. Now that didn't take long, going back to the old school method. Another nice little piggy. Only a little one. In the lip, but we'll lift anyways. Yo, beauty. So yeah, that was only 10 minutes into ditching the float. And we've managed to get our second one. Only a little fella, but still a drummer. And a nice eating size one. There we go, another little beauty. And only just hooked. Anyways. Yeah, it wasn't coming off. But beautiful little eater. They always put up a good fight. And into the catch bag. So I've gone over rock fishing safety a few times now, but it just needs mentioning each time, because it is quite dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. I'd recommend, if you're inexperienced and want to give this a go, check out my luderick off the rocks video. And that'll give you a lot of handy tips for safety. But for the experienced guys and who are in a council that you must wear a life jacket, I just thought I'd show off this thing. So this is a life jacket that you just wear around your waist. So if you're out on a safe ledge and you must wear a life jacket, you don't have to wear a big vest or a auto inflate one. You can get one of these nice little belt ones. I think that's pretty handy. Still want this Mondo drummer. Fingers crossed he comes along though. I'm absolutely spewing while I was up changing my rig. Set of the day came through and washed my bait bucket in. Right after I'd mushed up my last loaf of bread as well. So there goes all the burley all at once. So I dare say things are gonna quieten down a fair bit here shortly. We'll see, we'll see. Well, it's turned pretty damn quiet here. I dare say that full bucket of burley getting washed in might have helped at the start, but it's probably taking the fish down with the current, with all the burley. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean these fish up now, and I might have a look at the spot I was gonna fish around the corner, just because the tide has dropped and the swell a little bit as well, and it might be fishable. So you might see some footage of that now. Otherwise, enjoy this drummer filleting video from another time. Rightio, here's how I like to fillet my drummer. It's just going to be the exact same method you may have seen before for luderick, in one of my luderick videos. But basically with drummer and luderick, you do want to keep them live until you're about to fillet them. And then what we're going to do is we're going to brain spike them and bleed them. So to brain spike, you just have this first gill flap here in line with that and just the top of the eye. We're just going to go in, go through the skull. You'll see his eyes do a twitch, his fins will flare out and all the rest. You just want to give it a good wriggle around and do a complete job of it. Next we're going to bleed him, and so I'm just using a little dive knife here, and I find this to be very good, very sturdy point for brain spiking, and then a serrated edge for doing the gills. Let him bleed in there. We'll do this guy. Oop. So again, just lining up with that first gill arch, top of the eye, right in there. You just see you've got it straight away because their eyes will twitch around and all the rest. Alright. Just haven't done a complete job of it there. There we go. That's down into the cavity. And we'll bleed him. Just like that. And then you could just let them sit there to bleed naturally for a bit, but I like to just swim their body a little bit just like this, and I reckon it pumps the blood out a little bit more. Right, so next what we're going to do is take the fillet off, and then we'll skin it and debone it, so you'll be left with beautiful boneless fillets. So we're going to do a cut down behind the pectoral fin, just like that. Next we're going to turn the knife and just follow the top of the fish down the back. Right, just like that. And we're just going to work along that cut till we get down to the backbone, just as such. So down here, down the backbone, we're going to punch the knife out down near that bottom fin, and then just continue taking that fillet off from the back, just like that. Now we're up to where the pin bones and the rib bones connect to the spine. We're just going to angle the knife up slightly to cut through the pin bones but leave the rib bones attached. Just like that. Next we're going to follow those rib bones down just to get that last little bit of belly meat. And there we go, there is one beautiful fillet off a drummer. Keep an eye on this other one, make sure he doesn't get washed away, that'd be a major stuff up. I'll bring him up here, tempt and fate I am. Come up here, little fella. Now you would just do the same to the other side. If you have, once you take this first fillet off, it does become a little bit more difficult to get this top meat off the skeleton because the fish isn't sitting naturally. What you can do is make these cuts here, leave the fillet attached and then flip it over and get to the same position on the other side if you're struggling. But next up we're going to take the skin off this guy. So just get the knife started using your fingernail on the cutting board. Once you get a little ways in, we'll pinch the fillet between our thumbnail and index finger. Kind of a bit of a smooth pushing away motion as you pull the skin towards you. And there we go. A little bit of meat left on the belly, but that's alright. Some little bits we can just trim off like this. Seagull frothing. And then lastly what we've got is just the pin bones which are sticking up towards us or down away from us, right along there. So I find it easiest to go on the underside first. Oops, we've actually just got a fragment of a rib bone right there. We'll take that off. And then continue on. So now we've cut on the underside of the pin bones. We just need to cut on the top side. Just as such. And there we have a beautiful boneless fillet of drummer, super tasty fish. Last all it needs is just a quick rinse in some clean seawater. That can get put into a bag for the trip home, and that is going to be prime for dinner tonight. So there you go. Got a couple of drummer. Unfortunately lost that big one. But that's fishing sometimes. You can see I'm rugged up. It's a bit chilly with that southerly up. Anyways, hope you've enjoyed. Leave any comments, questions down below and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next episode.